Hey Rom, thanks for joining. How many of you got max stack of stamina herbs? Because I do, and after such dry month in DQT, I'm just dying for something to spend my stamina herbs on. Well, kind of good news is that we are getting new event, Dai-2 event as I'm going to call it, and today I'll be talking about the event overview, new farmable unit, and possible QOL, and I'm going to be brave to talk about it even though it's not yet announced in the game. As usual, disclaimer, information in this video contains a lot of forward-looking statement based on what we have seen in JP version of DQT, so not guaranteed that we will get it as well. But here is what I'm going to talk about. Event summary, farmable Hyunckel, and new alchemy update that's expected together with QOL patch. Here's a high-level glance Dai-2 timelines. So in part 1, we are getting 3 banners, and I have reviewed each unit already, so please check them out. I will leave the links in a comment below if you're interested. And that's for Dai, Pop, and Mom. There's going to be a lot of things to do, but for stamina-wise, it will be mainly farming Hyunckel and friend point or bond as you call it. Event itself are pretty standard, so general story and so the hard contents, etc. But most notable one in this first batch is the high score runs that we've seen before, like Zoma and Effie, which is really nice. Most exciting content in my opinion. And then part 2 with Hadler, part 3 with Vern. I will talk about more in the separate videos. Speaking of the new banners, each of the banners, Dai, Pop, and Mom will be separate individual separate banners, and each will have an upgraded stamp as you see on right. So you get 4 guaranteed S, not the guaranteed banner obviously, but note that there's no pity at 105th pull, that cheekily removed that in Japan, so we're expecting the same. So please be mindful that the worst could happen, that if you need to go all the way to 300 to get your first copy. In each of these banners, there's not going to be new A rank unit as usual, but instead there is a very small chance of other 2 to appear. So say for example, if you're putting on a Pop banner, you have a highest chance of Pop, but followed by a small chance of Dai and Man. In general, I think this is a really good upgrade on the banner itself. I'd like to talk a little bit about the paid banners for those paid players. It's going to be 30 paid pulls, includes Dai, Pop, and Mam, all 3 of them. The first and the second of 10 pulls are quite usual one, so guaranteed S, but not guaranteed the banner. And then third one has no guarantee S, but instead you get an exchange ticket, which will allow you to select Dai, Pop, or Mam at the swap shop. So if you do 30 paid pulls, you're guaranteed a 1 copy of one of the 3, and you can choose them. So I think that's a really good deal, and I think a lot of JP players got really excited about it and went for it. Now, there's going to be a new approach to equipment farming and the Dai-2, and this is obtained by equipment swap tokens you get through different events, and you can spend some of this to swap with the list you see on the left. All of them are pretty good, but I'm gonna just note top 3 gears that will be important in this event. The first one is Dai sword at the top, and this is a really good sword for heroes. New Dai himself as well, but really good for Erdrick and also good for solo, so definitely prioritize farming that. Mom's glove on the third on the left is a really good gloves with a high agility and also physical attack boost for heroes. It's quite rare that combination, so really definitely prioritize that as a second point. Best to roll for agility, and attack as well also works. The third priority, in my opinion, is going to come much later. It won't be a part of the phase 1. but it's a mist robe at the bottom. Now this is a quite rare one with zap physical resistance and zap a lot of zap type resistance. This is really good versus solo. Also, it's a really good one to roll for agility as well. For triple agility, it also works. Now, Marco's already done a really detailed farming guide as usual, so I'll leave the link in the comments below. Check out his farming guide for more details. Where to farm bonds? So as usual, these are really complicated, and I want you guys to be farming very effectively. So I've created a reference when and where you can farm these bonds. So I think in the first part, the priority should be to farm Hyunckel bonds first. While farming the bonds, you're also able to farm Hyunckel, the actual unit itself. So that's pretty effective. Once you max awaken Hyunckel as a unit, then you can try and move on, spread the farm on Dai, Pop, and Mom's bonds. Then the third week, when we get in the second batch, then they will add Baran and Hadler. But also they will add an event where you can further earn the first 4 bonds as well. So trying to plan well using that chart. And then fifth week, that lets you exclusively farm Hadler. So I will leave Hadler to last. So you start with Hyunckel, then rest of the kind of 4, and then SB Hadler as final. So that's my recommendation in order. But please do check out so that make sure you don't over farm, say for example Dai or Mam, not knowing that there will be another event that it lets you farm these. And then I want to talk about the QOL update, and I'm pretty brave to do that because it hasn't been announced in the game. But in Japan, they had a QOL update with the Dai-2 event, and the first one was the most interesting one, which was the ALCHEMY update. So I'll talk about that more in detail. But they introduced ALCHEMY level and ALCHEMY experience. And then next one is that they're using the gem to restore stamina. You know how you had to spend every time 40 or 60 gems, and then you kind of restore an X amount of stamina. This can be done as you see on the left a picture. You can gem refresh multiple times in one go, so that's kind of nice QOL. If you're if you spend gems on stamina restore. And then I think the third one is also very, very good, is that they created a new improved auto rematch. So as you see on the picture on the far left, you can set now how many times you want to auto rematch. So you can do it stops at say a certain point. Also, you can set a desired number of item or monsters to farm. So in the picture, you can say saber cub. You can specify. I want to farm up to 6, and stop once you get 6. So I think it's really good, especially when you're farming unit and you want to stop at max awakening, for example. So this will be really useful QOL. Now, let's talk about alchemy, though. That's the most interesting part. So the way the alchemy experience and the upgrade works is that every time you do alchemy, it will add 1 experience point. So in this table, you start with level 1, where the nominated rarity is from rainbow to bronze. That this very well. But once moving forward, once you do alchemy 100 times on a particular equipment, then the bronze will be removed off the list. So that's really, really good. And then once you reach 700 alchemy, yeah, you heard right, that's 700 alchemy. That's a lot. Then this is really a whale territory, to be honest. But if you do 700 alchemy, the 701 and onwards, you only get rainbow or guaranteed to only get rainbow or gold. So that's a huge upgrade. But so it's a really, really expensive, but really kind of lot of improvement you can expect on your alchemy quality. So there's gonna be new alchemy item that I've been showing in the pictures. So it increases the experience so of 50 alchemy. So it's almost like without doing 50 alchemy you get that 50 experience points, which is good. Best to use them on equipment that it's hard to farm. So like liquid metal jacket, for example, is a good one. So, but make sure these are going to be rare. So there's going to be also alchemy mission. There's a mission that gives you a new scroll, which is good. But fair warning that you have to alchemize 700 times, 400 of specific new gear like Dai sword, as you see above, and then 300 of any generic equipment. So you need a lot of gold. Hope you have managed to use May. During May, you were able to farm a lot of gold. So that's the QOL, and I want to talk about the farmable unit New Hyunckel. So what's New Hyunckel like? He's a Diamond Whoosh non-elemental physical attacker. He has a non-elemental single target. It's a range 3, which has a 40% confuse. Confuse is really, really good, status to have right now. So that's really good. He also has an AoE Zam. It's in a straight line, attacks 4 tiles. So that's also good. He has a whoosh attack in single target, range 1 to 3. It's a whoosh sure hit attack. It's not quite as strong as the Erdrick's one, but pretty good in my opinion. He has a 40% chance of cheat death. So this is kind of more signature of Hyunckel, similar to the banner Hyunckel, which survives 60% chance. This is slightly less, but still really good. He has a coup of which is a martial, which is a kind of weird that he's a physical attacker and he just have a coup, a martial coup, but it is what it is, and it's a cross-shaped martial attack, so it does double damage in the middle. But also he has a perk that allows it to damage to increase by 300%. So that's huge, right? If the HP is 1%, less than 1%, so that's i.e. after after cheating there. So it's kind of very luck dependent and very hard to pull off. So let's look at strengths and weaknesses. So he's a decent physical DPS. The Whoosh is not quite as Eldritch level, but sure hit is excellent and it goes range 1 to 3, so that's really versatile. Zam also decent enough damage. Well, at least for me, it's going to be my best Zam attacker. And its Zam attackers are rare, so that's really good. And a single target has a 40% chance to confuse. Really super good in the current meta. The 40% cheat death is nice to have. And the theoretical damage and coup is excellent. Checked on somebody's video. That does around 4,000 plus damage. So in normal conditions. So if you can pull off the max damage, then it will probably one shot even the most units with damage reduction. Now on the weakness side though, it's very hard to pull off the max damage on a coup. You have to, by turn 2, you have to have had Hyunckel survive once with a cheat death capability, and then for it to survive until turn 3, until his turn to shoot coup. So if it's an RTA conditions, no chance they're going to let your Hyunckel to be in that position. So really hard to pull off. He's also weak to paralyze, and as it's quite common with the burning breath. Cheat death 40% is just not something you can rely on if you're doing like arena offense or GVG offense. But it would be really annoying in a GVG defense, I can imagine. And also the last point is that he's a good damage for freebie, but not the greatest. So as I said, Whoosh is a bit weaker than Eldritch, and then Zam attack is actually quite good, it's because Zam attackers are all kind of weak, but still it's okay level. But all in all, I think he's a really good unit. I like him. I'll definitely get in max, so you should also max awaken him, in my opinion. So that is it for the today's content, but I want to just kind of run through quickly what you can expect from me coming up next, or at least in my plan if I have time. So next one up is the superior being handler. So handler will become as a banner and then comes with a new A rank him. So I'll be reviewing them, and then Dark King Vern will be the one to follow. He'll get a double era, who's kind of A rank that comes with Vern. Also, the Mist Burn. It's a funny one. Mist Burn's shards will be able to you'll be able to farm from day one, but Mist Burn itself won't appear until the third batch of Dai-2. So, so wait for that update. Also, I also want to plan. I'm planning to talk about either in one video or a separate video. I will be talking about Talent Blossom and Reminiscence. We can expect. We should be expecting DQ6 return with a 3 Blossom unit. So I'll talk about that later. Well, end of a long video, but thank you for sticking with this. And then, if you haven't, please do subscribe and also like if you found any of this useful. And look forward to seeing you soon.